lastly, kinesthetic or hands-on learner. You've seen now that kinesthetic is in a lot of our books, but I'm going to show you some of our most kinesthetic fun ones. So this is the learning wrap-ups. I call it the non-torturing flashcard. It doesn't torture the student or the parent. You go to the number that you're doing. This is multiplication, and I love this for repetitive learning because the kids love to do it more than worksheets and things like that. So it's all times 2. The question is on the left, the answer is on the right, and they just wrap it up. So 6 times 2 is 12, and they find 12 on the other side. 5 times 2 is 10, and they just keep going down the left-hand side, finding the answer on the right. And then you can quickly turn it over, and there's grooves. If you can see the grooves, they know they've missed it. If the grooves are all hidden, then you know they've got it right. So this is fun to time them, and as soon as they get it under about 25 seconds, you can move on to number 3. And I have my kids in elementary school pass this off every summer, because then you won't have any trouble with algebra later on. Okay, another thing that's obviously kinesthetic learner is something like our see inside or look inside flaps. They've proven that, see all those flaps, there's like 7 or 8 flaps per page. They've proven that children actually retain more information with a flap book than with a normal book. And they're great. While I pull out flaps, some of you might be thinking, oh no, they're going to rip them off. One of our Usborne buying from a home-based business guarantees is if your child does rip this off, if your 2-year-old gets to it, then you just call us. My label's right there on the back, and I can get you a new one for half price. So once you've purchased a book, you don't, if it breaks before you think it should, we replace it for free, but if the child ruins it, we replace it for half price. Okay, so here's another one that's really fun. You pull the helicopter backwards, and it goes around the page and lands at the hospital. So this is one where he saves people up in the mountains, saves them on the ocean, then lands at the hospital. There's also a ladybug and a train. It hides, it fits right in there, so it doesn't get lost in the bottom of your box. But if you do, it's only $3 to get a new one. If it breaks, they'll get you a new one for free. So that's a super fun one if you have someone that's into trains or helicopters or something like that. Okay, next one, back to the babies. Muddle and match. I love these. There's 4 of them now. There's jungle, monsters, and then imagination and an adventure. So this is one where it forms a complete sentence on the P page, the same color that'll all start with P's for princess. And you can change her head and change the sentence to the different characters. And it always forms a complete sentence. It's a bit of an alphabet book. The kids love to make the different characters on the left-hand side and then love to read the sentences different every single time. Those are super fun. This one's only $8.99. There's also one that's Touchy Feely. Has the flaps that are seared between the pages, so it takes quite a while to get them off. Even babies carry this one around. And there's 4 or 5 Touchy Feelys per page. It's also a counting book up to 5. So this is one of your luxury Touchy Feelys, Animal Hide and Seek, one of our best sellers. And then if they've proven that, or they've shown that the inmates, prison inmates at the prison cannot recite 95% of them can't recite 3 nursery rhymes. So I always joke that you need to have this book so that your kids don't go to prison. But you push the buttons. The 1 and 2-year-olds love the kinesthetic of that. Also the tabs at the top so that you can turn the pages. The babies can get a hold of those easier than the other pages. But learning nursery rhymes is super important for their reading. A child can't learn to read till they learn to rhyme. It doesn't stop. Okay, so next would be the Mouse About the House. #1 seller for about 22 years. You take the little mouse out. Don't worry about losing him. You just call us to get another one. Don't throw your book away if you lose them. Then you follow the dotted line, and it goes into the page and comes out on the next page. And there's 17 cardstock pages. Goes through. It teaches the kids to go from left to right, to follow the dotted line. So when they get into their wipe cleans, like a wipe clean alphabet, they can write their letters. They can follow the dotted line like they do in kindergarten. These are super fun. Wipe them clean. Very bright. Lots to do. These are easy. There's even one called Doodles. There's about 8 or 10 of these. Doodles a 2-year-old can do because doodles can be whatever you want. Okay, this is a really fun one, very kinesthetic when the kids are done learning their letters, but they're not quite ready for sentences. So here you can pick up the flap and read duck and see if you got it right. Or the younger child, you can pull this down and see goat. Which word over there do you believe is G-O-A-T, goat? And they can find which word matches and pick it up and find the goat underneath. So this is a super fun one for I'd say 4 or 5-year-olds that are learned their letters and ready to read but aren't quite ready for the sentences. That's called Lift the Flap Word Book. Okay, I have a couple more art books to show you and then we're done. We have great step-by-step drawing. Drawing and doing art actually gets their critical logical thinking brainwave higher than if they're reading. So art is super important. So this one goes through all kinds. We also have an animals one and a faces one. They can do it right in the book, great for traveling. Okay, one of my favorites is the magic painting book. And I just carry around a little baby jar with some water in it. And here's your paintbrush. And the paint is in the ink. I have the right place to see. So you can see how that's turning green as I spread the ink out. And it turns out to be kind of like this. My kids have done some of them. So that's a super fun one, $9.99 to paint. They can't make a mess anywhere, and you can just bring a teaspoon in a baby jar of water. So that's a perfect one. It's super fun and relaxing. Lots of doodle tins. If you want to doodle, turn these circles into different animals. Wipe Clean comes in a tin that won't break, so those are super fun. Lots of doodle and coloring. This is a fashion one. I always look at it myself and forget to show it to them. So lots to do. Make your dresses, doodle on the things. Okay, one thing that you don't realize that's kinesthetic and learning is stickers. Kids love to put the stickers on. So here's one that's build your own cars. They have all kinds of stickers. It'll tell you which page to put them on, and it's going to teach you about the cars as well. Do I have that sideways? Teach you about the cars as well. One of the things I like about our sticker books is it does teach you. Here's costumes from around the world. So you're going to learn about Swedish in midsummer, and then go put the stickers on in their costumes. So you get lots of auditory learning as well as the kinesthetic. I was just going to show you some of the stickers of the costumes. And there's about 18 of these, a sticker dolly dressing series. Okay, so that's it for kinesthetic learner or hands-on.